Tomorrow, the Supreme Court is expected to hand down a crucial ruling about the constitutional right to bear arms in America. At issue, Washington, D.C.'s complete ban on handguns. And at stake is the basic understanding of the Second Amendment to the Constitution. Is the right to bear arms an individual right? Or does the amendment refer essentially to arming, quote, a well-regulated militia? Well, the group of people you're about to meet, they've got a very clear opinion on this matter, and they don't just wear it on their sleeves, they wear it on their hips, as John Donvan reports.
High noon in Newport News, Virginia, and a picnic in a public park. Kids with kites, dogs with bones, and Virginians with their weapons. That's what brought them together the other day, a gun on the hip, every hip. Sometimes both hips. A group of people.
I'm essentially a last-year student at Georgetown University Law Center.
Who, in many cases...
I am an office manager for a local, I say local in Richmond, a law firm.
...only knew each other before this from the internet.
I write computer software.
In fact, there was a healthy quotient of the computer-enabled in the crowd.
Are you a geek?
Yes.
Oh, come on.
Yes, yeah, I write software that makes an automatic index like the back of a book. It actually goes through a book, parses the English, and I wrote all that and builds an index.
I withdraw calling you a geek. That's pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah.
And in fact, this man, his name is Philip Van Cleve, he is a force in the movement that put the burgers on the grill, so to speak, because this picnic was about a cause.
As we've been trying over the years to keep the ball moving forward so that our rights continue to be enhanced year after year.
The cause of changing how Americans think about fellow Americans who carry their guns out in the open, where you can see them, just as everyone here was doing, celebrating their right to do so.
All things considered, it was a very good year for gun owners.
What do you carry?
This is a car, KAHR K40.
Open carry, it is called, a noun and a verb. No, you do not say openly carry. And as lunch chugged on, no alcohol allowed, by the way, and folks began moving on to the watermelon, we were made more than welcome to ask anyone there why they open carry and why they had a picnic about it.
The bearing of arms openly is the right. It is the base state of gun rights in this country. And
this is John Pierce, who co-manages the website opencarry.org.
I open carry everywhere that I go. When I go to Walmart, shopping with the family, I open carry. When I go to the bank...
And what kind of looks do you get? Anything?
I very rarely have any kind of encounters at all.
It's as though John Pierce and everyone else here were longing for that bygone era with its different set of rules about what you could hold in your hand or wear on your belt, except they argue that they don't need to go back in time. The rules in place right now permit open carry in more parts of the country than you might think. OpenCarry.org has pulled together a map, it says, shows Americans have the right to carry firearms openly in the vast majority of states, as opposed to what is called concealed carry, which is more strictly regulated. So it's not, says Mike Stolenwerk, who was career Army before law school, that open carry was ever broadly outlawed. It's more, he says, that it was forgotten about. Why have Americans not been carrying guns openly? Why did it stop after the Wild West?
Well, it's not so clear it stopped. It is clear it became much, much less common in cities.
Though all here do understand that a lot of Americans still see no need whatsoever.
These groups are coming in the back door to make it very painful generally to be a gun owner, which is kind of odd because guns are the only personal property mentioned in the U.S. Constitution that are protected.
But if you're Dawn Welch, you do feel a need.
It's important to me because I'm 4'10". You know, I'm walking through a populated parking lot at night or even in the day, and I pretty much have a target on my back. You know, it would be easy for somebody to overpower me.
One woman's opinion. The dispute about whether guns prevent or cause violence rages on.
Do you think people look at you with a little bit more respect? Do you think, and maybe even you intimidate them a little bit in a way that you wouldn't if you didn't have the weapon?
I cannot imagine someone who looks less intimidating than I look, nor would I want the firearm to cause someone to be intimidated, nor do I use it to try and gain respect. It is a tool that I carry, that and nothing more.
Indeed, there was not much machismo on display here. It wasn't that kind of event. It turns out it's considered bad form to gloat over your handgun. Every time I asked this question,
What are you carrying?
the owner would kind of twist around to show me, but not one.
What are you carrying?
Not one.
What do you carry?
Ever unholstered.
You've got a loaded weapon. You don't want to, take any chances, even if you are a responsible person.
So what do you...
Well, that's just being practical, but open carry has other practical challenges, such as Dan Moore's repeated experience of being stopped by police when they see a gun on his hip.
I look to my left, there's Norfolk PD. Had a gun pointed at me, told me to turn around, and I didn't know what was going on at that point. I'm like, oh gosh, hope he doesn't shoot me. It was scary.
He says they let him go once they ran a check, and also remembered that in Virginia, Dan Moore has a right to open carry.
By the way, we did place a phone call to the local police department for this area, Newport News, Virginia, to ask their opinion of all of this going on in their area. They did not want to say a single word on the topic. Some nut job gets in amongst you. What's to keep him from just grabbing a weapon out of your holster or anybody else's holster?
If you look around at the type of holsters that are being used here, those who open carry traditionally carry in some type of a retention holster. Mike has one where the...
Your colleague is just showing. So this could not be pulled out. Can I give it a pull?
Sure.
So it doesn't. I got to take all of you with me. Do you ask about each other's sidearms?
Well, oftentimes we will, talk about makes and models. Just as with anything else. Someone might say, "Oh, you have the new BlackBerry Pearl," or "Oh, I notice you have a new Glock or a new Beretta." The quality of firearms that people carry for self-defense is always a topic of conversation.
Dessert time was approaching. They were eyeing those Virginia Citizens Defense League cakes. And kids played bang bang, and their dads did not. And at last, they cut the cake. I'm John Donvan for Nightline in Newport News, Virginia.
And they and the rest of America awaits the Supreme Court ruling expected tomorrow. Our thanks to John Donvan for that. Well, when we come back, buy one, get one free, not for ice cream cones.